closed should have remained open and would provide a very useful service today.
The fact is, this isn't ancient history. The damage inflicted by beaching is still felt today, which explains why I'm taking the car now, when 40 years ago I'd be getting the train. Once a railway line ran through this windswept countryside in the remote Scottish borders.
Edinburgh is 50 miles that way, and Carlisle about 50 that way. And this railway was completed in 1862. It quickly became known as the Waverley Line, because this is the wild and romantic countryside in which Sir Walter Scott set his Waverley novels.
Neither the line's history nor its value to the communities it served could save it. In 1968, the notice of final closure went up. The town of Hawick would be hardest hit. It would now be left further from a train than anywhere else in mainland Britain. Madge Elliott, a local housewife, was appalled.
What did you think would happen if they closed the railway? What would be lost?
At that time, it took over just about 3 hours, I should say, to go to Edinburgh, 52 miles, in the bus. Now, that's quite a slice out of your day, you know, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
and how long in the train?
An hour and 25 minutes.
Mm.
I remember my mother saying to me, I said, somebody should be doing something, and she turned around and she said, well, what about you? That was it.
Madge organised a petition to save the railway and took it all the way to the Prime Minister.
This picture outside Downing Street, that's you, isn't it?
That's me. It's a young me. It's a long time ago.
Very fetching suit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be seen in it now.
You seem to have wrapped it up like a present.
Yes, that's right, in red paper, because it was a Labour government, and the black ribbon because it was the death of our railway.
But they did close the line anyway, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
And your local paper here has got a special train being sent down to London with a hearse on it.
Yes.
And then there's this joke here, because the advert at the time was, it's quicker by train, and you lot have put up, it's quicker by hearse.
Yes. And that's a fact today, you know, Ian. People that use the crematorium in Edinburgh,
yeah,
the hearse gets through a lot quicker than the bus, public transport. So it is quicker by hearse.
Still.
Very few lines were ever rescued by the militancy of crusading locals. By 1973, almost 4,000 miles of track and over 3,500 stations had either been dismantled or left to rot. Despite Beeching's axe, the railways never did pay their way. Britain had once shown the world the possibilities of rail travel. Now the country had discarded a large part of that heritage.
What did we lose culturally when we lost those branch lines?
Everything that matters. We lost a poetry of the English landscape, I think, really. Everything became a bit prosaic after that. When you put a branch line train in the landscape, I don't know why, it always looks beautiful. A lovely little Great Western tank engine puffing white clouds of steam. That sort of image still charms us.
It's clear how much affection there is for this image of train travel, because today heritage lines are hugely popular with the public. The Severn Valley Railway, a Beeching casualty, is just one of more than 100 lines which have been rescued by volunteers. These engines, however, do more than just puff out nostalgia. They are a reminder of a time before the railways lost the nation's respect. I love them, but I do know that this isn't a totally accurate picture of what Britain before Beeching was like.
There was an idea that before Beeching, the railways were a fantastic network and you could travel to every tiny village in the country by rail. And you'd be met by a porter who'd take your ticket and then maybe transport you to the local manor house or whatever. And this is something of a myth.
The reality is, if we want a better transport system, we've got to be prepared to pay for it. It's a lot easier to say Beeching got it wrong, Marples was a bad man, there was a conspiracy, than to face the very difficult choices people faced at the time.
Beeching and Marples ultimately made their choice in purely economic terms, but I still think their dismissal of the social and cultural cost of cutting the railways was a real failure. The railways do mean more to the nation than just one way to get from A to B. And actually today, some of Beeching's axed lines could provide an alternative to car travel and ease the strain on the environment. Millions are even now being spent on reinstating part of the cut Waverley line. Fortunately, other parts of our railway's heritage fared better. In 1966, London's St Pancras Station, a Victorian masterpiece, was destined for demolition. It was only thanks to the protests of John Betjeman and others that it escaped the wrecking ball. Recently, it's been restored and adapted for the 21st century.
Here in this new state-of-the-art station, there is a statue. And is it of the visionary Dr. Beeching? No, it's of John Betjeman, the nostalgic poet and champion of our railway heritage. Not Beeching, who wanted a modern railway industry, but Betjeman, who delighted in an old-fashioned train service.
What we all want, of course, is the best of both of their worlds, and this struggle between them continues today. How far do you go with cutting a public service in the name of efficiency before you lose the whole point of it? Not just with trains, but with buses, post offices and the NHS. It's the same argument. Personally, I want an up-to-date, reliable railway, but I also want one that preserves what was so valuable in its past. I realise I may have to wait some time for this, but it would be worth it.
No more will I go to Blandford Forum and Morty-Ho on the slow.
To have your say about tonight's programme or to sign up for our weekly newsletter, visit the BBC4 website. Next tonight, Victoria Wood embarks on a mammoth journey on a train which, unsurprisingly, stops at Crewe.
From St Earth to St Ives, they've all passed out of our lives on the slow train.
Ja una storia non riscaso.
You see, one day,
a film crew arrived in a small Romanian village.
e iniziò a girare un film. They paid the villagers a little money.
Trabajar como actores y extras.
And they were
Super